Morning after morning, the smell of fresh bread drifted through the streets of Surulere like a friendly invitation. Children on their way to school would slow down just to catch a whiff, and taxi drivers often parked nearby, pretending to buy snacks while secretly hoping to see the cheerful woman who always said, "Good morning, oh my people." That woman was Clara Adeyemi, or simply Auntie Clara, as everyone called her now. Her bakery, the Humble Crumb, had grown from a tiny corner shop into a local landmark. The blue paint on the walls might have been fading, but the warmth inside was brighter than ever. She knew every customer by name. She'd tease the children, tell jokes to Okada riders, and even give free donuts to old women who came by just to talk. Sometimes when power went out, she would fan the oven herself while laughing and saying, "NEPA no-go, stop destiny today." Everyone loved her spirit. Even when flour prices rose and business was tough, she joked, "God day, if bread fit rise, I go rise too." Slowly, her little shop became something bigger than she ever imagined. One day, a young woman walked in, well-dressed and holding a notepad. "Good afternoon, Ma. My name is BC. I work for Lagos Life magazine. We're doing a feature on small businesses that are making a big difference in the community. People keep mentioning your bakery." Clara laughed. "Ah, me? My small shop? Yes, Ma," BC said, smiling. "Your small shop that somehow feeds half of Surulere." They took photos, interviewed her, and left. A few weeks later, Clara's face was on page 7 of Lagos Life, under the headline, "The Humble Crumb, the bakery that feeds hearts and bellies." That single article changed everything. Orders began pouring in. Birthday cakes, wedding pastries, corporate snacks. A supermarket in Victoria Island called to ask if they could stock her bread. Hotels began requesting deliveries. Within 2 years, the Humble Crumb expanded into 3 more branches across Lagos. Clara could hardly believe it. She now had staff, young boys and girls she trained herself. She gave them uniforms and always told them, "Work with love. No matter how small your role, you are part of something sweet." They adored her. She treated them like family, not employees. But success didn't erase her memories. Some nights after locking up, she would sit alone in the quiet bakery, sipping tea and thinking of Leo. She didn't hate him anymore. The pain had faded, replaced by a quiet understanding, and maybe a little pity. She often wondered if he was happy, but she never reached out. She had learned that sometimes silence is the loudest answer life gives. Still, fate has a funny way of crossing paths just when you least expect it. Somewhere across Lagos Island, in a shiny glass office overlooking the city, Leo Adeyemi was facing storms of his own. His real estate empire wasn't as steady as it looked. A few risky deals had gone wrong, and several partners were pulling out. The glamorous life with Vanessa was no longer so glamorous, especially after she left him for a wealthier investor. He was still successful on paper, still dressed sharp, still drove his Range Rover, but inside he was tired. The world he had chased so eagerly now felt empty. One morning as he flipped through Lagos Life magazine while waiting for a meeting, his eyes caught something familiar. A picture, a smile, a name. Clara Adeyemi, founder of the Humble Crumb. For a moment he froze. He blinked, looked again, and read the entire article. By the time he got to the last line, his heart had begun to race. He muttered under his breath, "Clara? My Clara." The article mentioned her 4 branches, her community programs, even her donation drives for local orphanages. Leo leaned back in his chair and laughed softly, the kind of laugh that hides regret. "So the small bakery turned into all this," he whispered. A few weeks later, another surprise arrived. Leo had just been appointed chairman of the organizing committee for the Lagos Charity Gala, one of the city's most prestigious events, a gathering of business elites, politicians, and celebrities. The theme that year was "Building Hope one heart at a time. He loved being the center of attention. For him, the gala was another opportunity to remind everyone that he was still relevant, still powerful. As he reviewed the list of sponsors and partners, something made him stop. Under the catering section, he saw the name, Desserts Sponsored by the Humble Crumb Bakery. He stared at it for a long time, smiling to himself. What are the odds? He murmured. Then an idea began to form. A mischievous, pride-driven idea. He leaned back, tapping his pen against the desk. So Clara wants to feed my guests? Perfect. Let her see what real success looks like. Let her see how far I've gone while she's still covered in flour. That afternoon, he sent a message to the organizing team. Kindly inform the Humble Crumb that the owner herself is required to personally deliver the main dessert at the charity gala. It will be good PR for her and entertaining for the guests. He smiled as he sent it, thinking he'd crafted the perfect humiliation. If only he knew the kind of story Lagos was about to serve him in return. Meanwhile, Clara received the message in her new office at the Humble Crumb headquarters in Ikeja. Yes, headquarters. She had built her dream into a registered company with dozens of staff and delivery trucks. When her secretary brought the email, she read it quietly, then smiled. "Madam, should we decline?" the secretary asked. "That man doesn't deserve your time." Clara chuckled softly. "Decline? Number? Let's give them exactly what they asked for." She looked at the framed photo of her first shop on the wall, the one with the blue paint and crooked signboard, and whispered, "Sometimes God lets people look down on you so that when you rise, they'll be the first to look up." Days later, preparations for the gala were in full swing. It was going to be held at Echo Convention Center, the most glamorous venue in Lagos. Politicians, CEOs, actors, everyone who was anyone was attending. Clara oversaw her team personally. They designed a magnificent cake, 5 layers tall, adorned with edible gold, sugar roses, and the charity's logo at the top. It wasn't just a cake, it was art. The staff worked with precision. The bakery vans were polished and branded. Clara herself chose her outfit, an elegant navy blue pantsuit with subtle gold embroidery. She didn't need diamonds or designer labels. Her poise alone carried power. As she stood before the mirror that evening, ready to leave for the event, she smiled at her reflection and said softly, "This isn't revenge. This is grace." At that same moment, Leo was already at the venue, surrounded by his friends, basking in the glow of attention. He wore a tuxedo and a proud smile, moving from table to table, shaking hands, laughing too loudly at unfunny jokes. When people praised the event, he'd nod proudly. "Yes, we worked hard to put this together. Wait till you see the dessert presentation. I arranged a little surprise." They all laughed, not knowing he was secretly planning to enjoy the sight of his ex-wife humbled before him. But pride, my friend, is like a balloon. It rises fast, but all it takes is one small pin to burst it. And that pin was already on its way to Echo Convention Center, wrapped in elegance and scented with vanilla.